The maintenance of a free society is a very difficult and complicated thing, and it requires a self-denying ordinance of the most extreme kind. It requires a willingness to put up with temporary evils on the basis of the subtle and sophisticated understanding that if you step in to do something about them, you not only may make them worse, but you will spread your tentacles and get bad results elsewhere.
I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. We lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
You're listening to the Paul Harrell Program, brought to you by Conduit Media Group.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. It's hour number 2. Thanks so much for being with us. My name is Paul. This is the intersection of conservative ideas and reality. And joining me now from the Marble Palace, Senator Linda Collins-Smith. Senator, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm so proud to be here.
All right, so the Judiciary Committee, you just got done with that, correct, today?
That's correct. We just finished.
Okay, and the bill, HB 1249, that you courageously filed as an amendment. I think it's an NRA-backed amendment. They weren't supporting the current bill. Kind of break down where we are with that. I know it didn't run in the Judiciary Committee just now.
That's correct. It did not. And we're waiting now for the sponsors of the bill to make a proposal to us or to see whether or not they're ready to just send this bill and add them in the amendment. Obviously, the amendment that I have is a true campus carry bill as far as Second Amendment goes and the supporters for it. It doesn't have limitations. It allows us to have campus carry at current age for concealed carry.
21 years.
That's 21. And also it has no additional mandates for a lot of additional training. And why would we do that? Why would we pick out and create a new class of people when we already have a concealed carry law? And we have a license program, and if you can do the background check and get your concealed carry, then why isn't that good enough? Why aren't people on campus? I mean, they can surely follow the same rules that other people follow in the state of Arkansas. Mm-hmm. So we have laws on the books to protect citizens and to deal with crime, to deal with, those that want to defend themselves should have the right. They don't have to defend everyone else, but they should have the right to defend themselves.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And, when you look at the Republican Party platform, they're supposed to be, I guess, for less regulations. And here's an example of, originally the bill was an attempt to allow faculty and staff on colleges, if they were licensed to carry. Then all of a sudden you add the red tape, the 16 hours. That you have to get in addition. I mean, that's the definition of more regulations to exercising your rights.
Exactly, and that's our basic right to defend ourselves. The Second Amendment, affords us that. It guarantees it. And to think that we're going to have some people pay more for training, that are going to be put out more. We already have people complaining that the fees for concealed carry are too high and they can't afford it. I already have those complaints in my district, and I've heard other senators say the same thing. So why would we want to add more regulations? And tell me what it is that a 21-year-old that just happens to walk on a campus, why they're any different than the same 21-year-old that can carry in the mall.
Yeah, that's a great point. What exactly, we're talking with Senator Linda Collins-Smith, what exactly happened yesterday on the Senate floor? Senator, it wasn't yesterday, Senator Trent Garner, he didn't support the current bill as it is anymore, or that's at least what some media outlets said. What exactly is going on there?
Well, I had a meeting in my office yesterday morning with Representative Collins, and of course we had Senator Garner in a text throughout the period of time because he's also the sponsor of that bill in the Senate. And so Ms. Senator Collins came to the office, and we visited about the amendment, and that when this hostile amendment was put on by Senator Hutchinson, is that it's just totally hostile. I mean, it is not anything that most Second Amendment supporters want. So
the NRA doesn't want
no
it.
one. I mean, really, does anyone want this? Does someone want their own? Do they want to have to go through the 16 hours of training? No one wants to have to do that if everyone else is able to have different rules. Why are we treating, and matter of fact, why are we discriminating against someone because they walk on a campus versus for an age requirement?
Yeah. So
when we put this bill on and visit with Representative Collins that morning, he agreed after much debate that they would pull the bill and that they would consider this, because the truth is this bill that with the hostile amendment on it, and we wanted them to fight the hostile amendment. That's what we didn't see. We didn't see Senator Garner or Representative Collins. We wanted them to fight a bad bill and that bad amendment. And so they agreed that this is more in line with what they wanted on the bill to begin with, the true campus carry.
Yeah.
I said, then let's fight for that. And they agreed to pull it back, look at it. They're going to look at it. The agreement is we pull it back, they look at it, and then we come together and discuss what we're going to do next.
What? Go ahead.
Before I present that bill. I mean, I'm giving them that opportunity before I present my amendment.
Okay, good.
And we do have the support of the NRA. It's an NRA-backed amendment. And Jan Morgan, who has qualifications. You know all of her qualifications. She is also state licensed by the state police to as well to do her training. I mean, she has so many credentials. Yes, that's right. And Fox News analyst when it comes to Second Amendment and gun rights.
And she was up here yesterday.
And she was here. That's correct.
In the negotiation process. I saw that on Facebook.
They got to watch the negotiation. You're right. They're part of it.
That's good. So that was actually my next question, though, was about the NRA. A lot of people. When it comes to getting reelected, Senator, they don't want a bad grade from the NRA. So how much of their support, behind or opposition for a bad amendment or a bad bill, supporting a good bill? I mean, how much of that has to do with this?
Well, I think it should have a lot to do with it if we're Second Amendment supporters. I think the state of Arkansas is a true Second Amendment state. I mean, we love our guns to be able to use for defense. There's a lot of other things you can do, sport shooting, anything you want with them. But the truth is that we want our Second Amendment rights so that we can protect ourselves from tyranny and also for self-defense. And I think those are at the top of our list. When people say leave our guns alone, they mean it.
If we could get the NRA to come out against Medicaid expansion, I think we might actually be a conservative state.
Oh, I love that line. I'll talk to him tonight. I've got his cell number.
All right. Okay. So Governor Hutchinson, he had a media event, I guess, earlier in the day, and he was asked a question about this whole controversy. I wanted you to hear it, some of what he is suggesting.
Compromise, as he described it, that was reached, did not get met with uniform favor. And so I think he's saying, let's take a breath on this. Let's see if there's some other areas that we can get this done. And I expect that's what the Senate committee will look to or look at. So let's just see how it develops. I think it's very uncertain as to where this goes, and it might be that we decide to study this for 2 years and see if we can't come together and address it down the road.
Okay, that's the governor, Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson, specifically talking about this campus carry bill. He says it might be that we study this for 2 years and then come back down the road. Now, immediately after that, it's kind of hard to hear, but John Brumman asks, is that what you hope? And there was a long pause or, an awkward moment where he says no. It's interesting that he suggests that we need to take it down and study it for 2 years, then asks if that's a good idea. He says no. So what is your reaction to that statement by the governor?
Well, when I first heard that played back, I have to tell you, I think that the governor knows that Representative Collins has had this bill out here for 6 years. And I think it's been studied a lot.
Wow, that's a good point.
And so I think we've studied it enough. I think the people have spoken loud and clear. They want their Second Amendment right. They want the right to exercise that without being hindered in any way. And I can't imagine that we tell college professors or college students that that they have to be treated differently than everyone else in Arkansas. I mean, there's not anything wrong with them. So why do they need 16 hours training? Why do they have to be older? Those same very people could die for us and be in the military and have more experience handling a gun and in speed time put it back together, the whole gun, better than many people. Why would we dare infringe or put that much more, hinder them in allowing them to defend themselves?
And it really does come to this deterrent. I mean, if we're really talking about the college shootings that have taken place all across the country, some crazy person is going to be drawn towards a gun-free zone. And so the more people that have the ability, potential to carry, it's going to deter. We know it's going to deter tragedies from happening on our Arkansas schools. And that is actually protecting the citizens by giving us the right to defend ourselves. It's actually making us more safe, not less.
That's exactly right. It makes us more safe. And at least that person that has a gun or a weapon for defense has the right to pull it or not pull it, lay it down and put their hands up. Anything they need to do, they'll make those decisions if something bad or tragic were to happen. And you leave it back into that person's hands to decide how they want to handle it at that time. You know, there might be a time where they wouldn't pull a gun, and there might be a time where they're going to, and it'll be automatic. And so you can't, to take someone's right away is exactly why we have the slaughtering of our innocent children on campuses. Whoever came up with gun-free zones, I'm going to tell you, they should be held accountable for the slaughter of some of our children when they are not allowing anyone to defend these children. And I'm a grandmother. My children have gotten through school. We went to school. We had guns guns were common. People would go hunting in the mornings or they'd go in the afternoon. In the back of a pickup, any day of the week you saw a gun. It was left out there at night, and so people were not afraid of guns. And I think the more we've taken them away, we've created a circumstance of fear when a gun should not be feared. It's the person that handles the gun. And so I just think that the slaughter of our innocent children, it's ridiculous to put up a gun-free zone, and then the criminals come out and take aim at our children, and there's no defense.
Senator Linda Collins Smith, I appreciate your stance on the Second Amendment. I appreciate you trying to rally Republicans, to vote like Republicans should say they'll vote, and maybe this thing has a shot to actually be, a true Second Amendment bill. And I really appreciate you coming on.
That's our stand. That's what we hope for.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.